There's a star that lights the road. I take this ride. Just drive. I wanna be the only one to make it to the light. I take it to the edge where I've lived 1,000 lives. Maybe I could be the one. I'll ride to the setting sun tonight. Just drive.
Hello and welcome to this, the final test notebook of the season. Winter testing is over, the pack-up has begun, and it's been a funny old day really. Nothing spectacular happened. We didn't see anybody going for sort of qualifying style times at the end of the day when the track was cool, but we did see some impressive performances from Nico Rosberg with a 20.1. So that's the fastest time of the test, as it should have been really, because the track of course is rubbered in, it's nice and warm. They did as much tyre testing as they could. They seemed to get a handle on it. So that Mercedes is clearly quick over one lap, but we'll see how quick everybody else can go when they take the fuel out in Australia. Fernando Alonso, I think we should read actually more that that's a decent, very decent time from the Ferrari on a 20.4. Jenson Button showing there's a bit of pace in the McLaren with a 21.4, with Nico Hülkenberg getting some good race running after a reliability glitch a little earlier on. Kimi Raikkonen only 41 laps for a 121.6. And Sebastian Vettel, I thought was interesting what he said, was that we're just looking for some more consistency with the tyres. Same for everybody, but I thought that for a Red Bull to admit that was significant. Johnny Herbert and Rachel Brooks just doing the end of day roundup, which you will have probably already seen. I like to do those sort of Inception style things look at that. Look, you know the test is over because there's a crisp packet on the floor. You wouldn't have seen that round here earlier because Dietrich Mateschitz was here, and Red Bull have kept this area absolutely spick and span because the boss is in the house. Not now. He's long gone since on his Learjet back to Salzburg, and everyone is packing up. We can follow. Shall we follow? Where am I going? I am going next to Toro Rosso. Yes, thanks very much. Do I look like Ron Dennis in this shirt? Sort of, since he's not been wearing the McLaren overalls, he does tend to wear shirts of this hue when he comes to races. I don't know. Anyway, I was going to say some things about Ron Dennis there, but I'm not going to. I respect him too much. He's a lovely man. Okay, let's go through reliability and unreliability. Who's reliable, who's unreliable, and who do I not really know about? Reliable, Red Bull Racing, McLaren. Force India, absolutely bulletproof Force India. Mercedes, reliable-ish, apart from all the problems they had earlier on in Jerez. Caterham, bulletproof. Toro Rosso, pretty reliable. Unreliable. Lotus, it's good, Pete, isn't it? Arranging it so that we shoot into the sun like this. Can you get a nice little sunshine down there? Unreliable. Lotus, by their own admission, far too many reliability problems for their liking, with various bits on the car. Davide Valsecchi said so in our live coverage earlier today. Sauber, also little things going wrong, but little things which are stopping them in races. And don't know, like that great column in Questionnaires, don't know. Williams haven't really done many race simulations, so we just don't know, especially with the new bits on the car. Ferrari, reliable-ish, but can you call yourselves truly reliable when you have a wheel fall off and blame an upright? I suppose. Well, we don't know. And Marussia, they really haven't done quite enough lappery for us to know. Well, this is charming. What's going on here outside the press centre? We have a chap in a fleece taking a picture of a pretty girl. Well, that's what passes for press here. Not quite sure what that's all about. Right. Development corner or development cubicle. Oh my God, someone's in trap 2. Where are we? Oh, we're in trap 3. Oh, thank heaven for that. You're right. Thought you were in my area. Right, come in, Felix. Felix has secured the confused. Sorry, Pete, I called you Felix there for a moment. Strange. We've been working together too long. It's been a long winter. Right, come in, Pete. Now, how is the tilt on that? Is that all right? Do you want me to tilt it a bit towards you? No, I've got the thumbs up. Okay, let's go through some interesting things that we've seen at this test. Further developments to the Red Bull front wing, in particular these little holes in the end plate under the AL of Total. You normally don't get that. When they stick holes in end plates, it tends to be towards the back, so it's an interesting development from Red Bull. So today they were still testing that with Sebastian Vettel. He took it off for his final few runs, but they wanted to know how it affected the airflow. Of course, front wing's so important, it governs airflow to the whole of the rest of the car. They wanted to know everything they could, so they ran this array of pitot tube sensors here, which of course there's another 2 holes in that end plate on the other side there, so it doesn't matter which side they run it on. So they're running those on the Red Bull there, and look at these little fellas, these 3 little fellas up here. I like them. Not quite sure what they're measuring up there, probably just a sort of a control sample of air, I would imagine. But just so you know, people have been asking, what are those big things that come out at the top of the roll hoop, like Ferrari have? They are sort of control sample of air pressure, things like that, wind speed, track speed. Anyway, so that was what was going on the front wing. Staying with the front wing. Now, Pete, we're going to do well to show you this. Can you see the 2 red dots there and there? I hope you can. Yeah, sort of. Okay, well, maybe if you can, if I angle it down perhaps, or up. Anyway, down. There is a dot there and there is a dot there. And this is a camera, and it's looking at those 2 red dots. Now, they did this earlier on in the test, and I alluded to it in a previous notebook. So what we believe they're doing is that when the car and the wing is running at speed, those cameras are looking at those dots and they're seeing how much they're going down, so they can cross-reference what the camera is seeing to those dots with the aerodynamic loadings that they know they're getting from all the sensors that are dotted around the cars, and seeing if the front wing flexibility is what they thought. They can also see, of course, because those dots are there, whether it's going like this, backing off, or going forwards like that. So interesting stuff from Red Bull. All completely legal, not saying it's not. So there you go, you can see as well as this is a good view of the 6-element front wing. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can't see it underneath, 6. Lovely. It's like razors, isn't it? We're going to get 7 and then 8 again. Anyway, you can also see the red dots there. Can you see, Pete? Is that a better view? I don't know. 1 red dot there, 1 red dot underneath it. Maybe that's a better view. Good. They also tried, Red Bull, the rear wing stalling device, the drag reduction device. We think this is it, although we can't actually see where the air comes in order to be fed up this small hole, and then this stay here, this support, and then blowing underneath the rear wing. We know it's what it's doing it because we saw the aero paint, even though we haven't got a photo of that, but all the teams have got a photo of when it's had the aero paint, and you can see the quicker lines when it's actually stalling this part of the rear wing. It comes out in a sort of fan here. Not a huge area, so it's difficult to know how much benefit they're getting from it, but still, look at these cascade wings on the hub. You know I'm a fan of these. Straight across, down. Ooh, look how curved they are. Beautiful. And nice shot of the diffuser as well, which we will come to. We've got a special part on diffusers in Development Corner this week. Yes, aren't you delighted? I knew you would be. Right, on to Ferrari. Lots of stuff on the Ferrari. This is a bit of an obvious sort of strake here, isn't it? But they were trying it out. It soon disappeared from the car, just a sort of airflow conditioner, fairly standard thing that we've seen on many cars. There you go, it's disappeared. That was taken earlier today. Fernando Alonso, with a very fetching blue mirrored visor there. So it then disappeared. But a lot of the changes have been to the back of the car. They put several more bumps in around the exhaust area to help with the co-ander effect. Bumps, of course, curved surfaces, which we explained on the notebook yesterday about how airflow likes to stick to curved surfaces, and they can direct the airflow here out of this exhaust, helping get guided by this vane into the magic gap, which is just between the rear wheel and the floor there. But this is interesting. Look, they put a big brake duct, a little winglet on top of the brake duct there, that we can see it in some better shots coming up. I thought that was a nice bit of work. In the exhaust channel itself, I hope you can see this, Pete, but there's a sort of dent. Can you see just that dent there? Again, it's just to get the exactly correct exhaust channel flow as it goes into the... Have we got a fan at Development Corner? Bianca, the German journalist, was just peeking what we were doing. We've got a German fan. Good old Bianca. Right, yeah, so it's just to get it absolutely correct. So Ferrari put a little dent in there. They're the towels that they use to keep the exhaust cool. Then you can see again the little dent there in the exhaust. A bit of a better view of the brake duct. So the brake duct comes in here, takes in air, but then also has this element just on top of it. It's just obscured by the rear wheel there, where it actually, there you can see on this one, it actually creates downforce as well. Quite a lot of, do you think he's dropped his screwdriver? Where's my screwdriver? It's down here somewhere. Right, let's, there you go, that's a better shot of it. Comes up here, and then, can you see these two little holes, Pete? You might have to come in a bit closer on this. Look at that, I love that. Two little holes letting air in on that. Sorry, I'm just checking my watch to see how much time we've got. Right, done 10 minutes, so we have to rattle through the rest of it. Look at these strakes on the rear wing as well. 1, 2, 3. Ferrari have had these things for quite a while, so this is just the development of them. And there you go, there's those little veins that I absolutely love. They're still my favourite things. And a monkey seat, the ubiquitous monkey seat, still on the car there. There was that thing I was telling you about, the little mounting for their sensors on top of the car at Ferrari. There you go, look, much better shot of it with the little holes in the brake duct there. Look at that, that's an interesting, that's a hole in a diffuser. That's the one hole in the diffuser they're allowed to have. Kind of throwback to the double diffuser, but that's where the starter motor prong comes through to gain access to the starter motor. So they're allowed to have that for the starter motor, but it does still give them some rear downforce. And finally on Ferrari, this is a little hole in their front wing end plate, which they came up with just there. They used it, sprayed it with aeropaint, and then took it off again. We might see it appear. Side cockpit, the side pod little winglets are back. They went away, and now they're back on the McLaren. McLaren also had a little tweak to their front wing and to their floor and diffuser, but we don't actually have any photos of that at the moment. This is a specially brightened up photo from Sutton Images, and all credit to Mark and Emily and everybody at Sutton Images. Thank you very much to them. They are brilliant as usual. Now look at the diffuser section of development corner. Now look at these strakes, the way they come out, and then this comes out fairly centrally, and look how these ones splay out in a fairly aggressive angle to the side. Now, Lotus has already done this, has always done this. They did this last year as well. They like the air, if you come back, Pete, if you can imagine it, the air to come out and then go out there, sort of in a fan. Everyone else kind of, a lot of other people sort of put it out like that. We can compare the Lotus there to the Sauber, which has much less aggressive veins in the diffuser there, just coming out centrally, and indeed in the to the Mercedes. But Mercedes staying with this little slot here, again a sort of remnant of the double diffuser, but they are allowed to do that in that area. They're pretty aggressive in their strake out here as well. So I thought that was interesting. And Red Bull have a much nicer shape. Look at this beautiful shape at the top of the diffuser here, sort of reminiscent of 90s Adrian Newey cars. It's absolutely beautiful. And you can see Red Bull's diffuser there. Right, let's rattle through them. That's Toro Rosso's diffuser. Again, you've got a little strake here being fairly aggressive, pushing it out the side, but otherwise a bit standard. But look, a little winglet just on there for Toro Rosso, but the usual sort of strakes at the bottom of the rear wing, which is really we're seeing on many, many cars, including the Lotus. Lotus just changing some things, putting an extra little guide vane in here at this test to help their commander, their exhaust come out and hit the magic gap in between the rear wheel and the floor. Lotus were also having their little strakes, thicker strakes, not as many others on the Toro Rosso, at the bottom of their new rear wing. That's nice to see on the Lotus. And the monkey seat, a nice curved monkey seat, so a monkey would have a bit of trouble staying on that. You might actually struggle, but on their rear wing stalling device on Lotuses, I think they've moved it back a bit. It did used to blow around here on their rear wing, just underneath their rear wing. I think they've actually extended this part and it's gone back a bit like the one that Red Bull had. And just you don't see this very often, the underside of a car. Just see how these high noses, this big area where airflow can just come in and then be directed towards the back of the car. I just thought it was quite interesting to have a look at that. Yes, this was a little nice curved, aerodynamically effective floor stay. They've got to have these to pass the floor deflection tests, and this is a little curved one that is on the Lotus. I quite like that. Now, Mercedes, where did their speed come from? Well, the side pods have been reprofiled slightly, and their exhaust channel has been just perfected. So that's what they look like now, and will probably be the same in Australia. But look how soft the suspension is. I mean, I know it's going around a quick corner, it's the last corner here in Barcelona, but look how close the floor is to the ground there, and indeed the front wing. So Mercedes getting this absolutely right, stuck to the ground as it comes down there. So pretty impressive from them. Now, how do you tell the difference between Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg in the race? My guide, ladies and gentlemen, look at the central area. Lewis Hamilton, it's yellow. Central area of Nico Rosberg, it's silver. And that's it. That's all the chance you've got. Apart from the fact that that's a Schubert helmet and that's an Arai helmet for Lewis Hamilton. So, but if you can't see the logos that closely, that's what you've got to look out for. No silver bit in the middle, silver bit in the middle. Good. Williams, new front wing here, nice new curved element to the front wing. And look, a Ferrari style strake at the top here as well. This was a before and after. This is what their exhausts looked like before. They just came out in a fairly standard way, and after they've copied Red Bull and Lotus with their style, even with including the little duct that goes down to the back of the diffuser there. So no prizes for originality in Formula One. It's just a copy of the Lotus and Red Bull system, and I hope Williams have a good time with it too. This is their front wing, their blown wheel nut. We looked at this at Development Corner last time, and they're just changing the direction. Can you see this time it's looking up? So it's sort of blowing the air up a bit before it comes down, and then is used to create downforce down here. So still to learn exactly how best to use this little duct that brings air from the brake duct through the hub and then out, guided by this little rim on the this little vein on the wheel rim here, and then out towards the back. But nice thinking there from Mike Coughlin and everyone at Williams. And finally, Marussia with a nice new front wing on their car, which resembles, well, quite a few teams actually, but it's pretty cutting edge on there. Now, a lot of people have asked, recognise this, Pete? Recognise this handsome devil? A lot of people have asked what Pete the cameraman looks like, and well, there you go. That's what he looks like. Look at that, hair being ruffled away. 3D camera though, by the way. So this is a much less handsome photo of Pete the cameraman, where he looks like some sort of ginger pirate. But the beard, very fetching. This is with one of our super slow-mo cameras. So there you go, that's Pete the cameraman for you, ladies and gentlemen. And all credit to our 3D cameramen, because these are the rigs that they have to use. And look at the way the lenses are mounted there and then moved together. We talked about this yesterday. It is really quite impressive. So all credit to them, and I hope very much you've enjoyed our 3D coverage and indeed our 2D coverage throughout the week. Right, one promo to tell you about the F1 show this Friday, coming up with myself and Natalie Pinkham, 8 p.m. Sky Sports F1 HD, and then we're off to Australia. But that is it from Development Corner, Development Cubicle, and that's it from these Barcelona and Jerez tests. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for all your nice comments, and we'll see you in Melbourne. Bye-bye.